I think I've been lying to you, and I think I've known about it for a while. I actually have a script today. We'll see how close we stick to that. So, this is usually the point where I would introduce myself, but considering the topic of today's conversation, I think I'll just cut right to the chase. I sometimes feel like a bit of an imposter doing this whole selling cards and YouTube thing, to be specific. And to be honest, I don't really always understand why when I get those feelings, because as I've stated in the past, I have done some arbitrage selling, and I even have retail experience and sales experience. So I am knowledgeable about inventory and uh, sales and those types of things as well. It's odd to have this feeling that, oh, I'm not like that seller or this creator, and that somehow makes what I'm doing less valid. Maybe you can relate. There's a term that I'm sure you've heard of called imposter syndrome. And if you don't know what that means, simply put, it's the feeling that you are a fraud in what you are doing, that your accomplishments or achievements are not something that you got due to your own competence, but rather are a result of you getting lucky. But before I get too far into the weeds here, well, hello there. My name is Brandon. I'm the founder of the Card Pirates, aka the Card Pirate Captain. And I make videos like this to really to share what I'm doing right, and especially what I'm doing wrong, in hopes that someone can learn from it, or at the very least that you will be entertained during your 10 to 15 minute break allotted by the state of California. So if that sounds like something that is interesting to you, then by all means, like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know who I'm sailing with. And for those of you that have already done that, thank you. So, rolling it back, I'll have these thoughts cross my mind. And if I'm being honest, this is not some kind of tragic, oh, poor me kind of moment that I'm trying to share with you. I genuinely challenge these ideas on a regular basis. Just because I do that doesn't mean I don't feel them. It just means that I don't let them sit there. Now, I imagine if you've been watching this long, you probably have had some similar experience of feeling like an imposter or a fraud, or, whatever term you want to use. You're kind of playing pretend in a way in your mind, that like you're not actually who you are pretending to be, but you keep making it work until someone notices. At least that's what you're thinking. And if I'm strictly speaking, that's not entirely untrue. Like, in some capacity, we are all playing pretend. We are all getting by this, getting by the skin of our teeth. We're all getting lucky. The thing is about luck, though, is that even in random number generation, you can modify the factors of which numbers are randomly generated. Think of it like consistency in a deck. If you're playing one of a card, how often are you going to find that card in the deck? Every once in a while. If you're lucky, you'll get it at the right moment, but you kind of set yourself up for that by only playing one of those cards. Or if it's a certain circumstance, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, where a card is limited or semi-limited, then you are set up for that by the rules of the game. Comparatively, if you are, let's say, playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're able to play 3 of a card, the likelihood of you drawing that card out of a 40-card deck are significantly increased. Even more so, let's say you're playing a different game, a game like Pokemon or Magic that has a resource system, and you need to make sure that you have those resources available whenever you need them. Well, you're going to play a plentiful amount of energy for Pokemon or mana for Magic to make sure that at any given moment, you will have what you need in order to play the cards that you need to play to drive your strategy. So the reality is that oftentimes things aren't just happening out of pure luck or happenstance. Like, serendipity is cool as an idea, but the reality is we set ourselves up for most of the circumstances we deal with. Something you did before sets up something that's now. and something that's now sets up something that's going to happen. We just may not know the ramifications of those things yet. I think it's also important to consider the fact that sometimes we consider being an imposter, rather confusing it with simple imitation. And imitation is not a bad thing. In fact, that's usually how we learn everything. I mean, when we're young, we imitate our guardians, our parents, to learn a lot of things. And then even as adults, I mean, you watched a YouTube video how to do something before, right? I mean, we utilize other people's experience and information and telling us that, then we copy it in order to do the thing that we're trying to do. That's just how humans work. And the truth is that imitation is still the finest form of flattery. I mean, the whole reason you're trying to imitate someone is because you believe that the way they are doing something is good, that they do it well, that you like the way they do it. So you're trying to do it the same way. And I heard this from someone a long time ago, and he was speaking in regards to like starting a band and how he would recommend to do that. So I'm going to paraphrase, generalize it a little bit. Essentially what he said was start by copying your favorite, right? Imitate what they do, imitate how they do it. And then once you start to get a hang of that, start adding your own flavors in. That's how you start creating your own thing. And I say that to say this. It's okay if at this moment you don't feel like it's yours. Like it doesn't have your own style. It doesn't have your own spin on it. That's totally fine. You're not supposed to right away. That comes with the time of doing it. And since two things can be true at the same time, sometimes that's not enough. I know that for myself, there are times when I look at some of the other creators in this space, Brandon from Ice Age Vault, Pat from Hound Dog Gaming, Phantom from Phantom TCG, and amongst many other names of people that I follow in this space. And I think, man, you know what? Like, I don't have the knowledge that he has. I don't have the experience that he has playing that game or following that game. I don't know all of the sets in Magic or even Pokemon or, you know, the playability of certain cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! I've stated that before. I'm winging it in a lot of ways, but I'm watching their content and absorbing what they're saying and trying to graft off the pieces onto my own situation that makes sense for what I'm doing. I'm doing my best to imitate in a way that I'm learning. You know, if Pat has a great idea, if Brandon or Phantom or TJ or, once again, the list goes on, if one of them has a good idea, then let me grab that. Let me see if that's going to be something that I can apply and try out for my own situation. And maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Regardless, I can sit there and say, you know what? Right now, I am imitating, and that's okay. It doesn't make me fraud. It just means I am learning by copying. And maybe it sounds really silly to talk about when we're talking about trading cards, but to be totally honest, like, I view this venture as a sort of dream coming true. I've always wanted to have my own thing. I've always wanted to start a business of my own and really truly dedicate time and effort into it. And I finally have this time where I can do that with this. And so it means something to me. And I put my whole heart into it whenever I'm making decisions about it, and I'm committed to it. So for me, it's as serious as it is silly, because it means something. And that's why when I have these thoughts, I challenge them. I make them compete against the information that I'm aware of about myself. And I give myself an opportunity. I treat myself as if I was vetting a candidate for my own business, someone who I was looking at to run it for me. And I look at my qualifications. Like, is this someone who I could trust to be able to knowledgeably list inventory and make choices about pricing and know how to buy inventory and what cards, you know, should be moved from one space to another space, what websites should be utilized, right? Do I trust myself enough to be able to make those choices even if they're wrong. Yeah, I do. So even if in a moment I feel like I'm faking it, the reality is I might be. That's okay. Because I'll learn. And then eventually I won't be faking it. And if I get lucky, well, it's about damn time. But anyway, thanks for watching all the way through this. I know that for the most part, a lot of people don't stick around too long. But for those of you that do, I really, really appreciate it. Let me know that you were here by saying I was here. Like, comment, subscribe. If you are new, please tell me. I love to see when new people pop in. Love to meet you. But outside of that, if TCG Treasure is what you seek, consider sailing with the pirates next time. Card Pirate Captain out.